What a joy it is to be in God's tabernacle. And here in Israel, they celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. It's the harvest time, and we should be thankful for all that God has given us. He's blessed us so much. But what is the meaning of this holiday? I spoke with Greg Olsen from Focus in Israel, and I asked him that very question.
Well, in Leviticus 23:33 through 44, the Lord commands Israel to have a holiday in the fall. And what they do during this time is it's 8 days long, and it has twofold purpose. The first purpose is it's a fall harvest, to celebrate the harvest, the later harvest in the season before winter comes. And the second purpose is to remember the wilderness experience, that God was their provider in the wilderness experience.
On the streets we'll see Orthodox Jews carrying special stuff. What sort of things are they carrying, and why do they carry that?
Well, they carry these things because this is a very joyous time of the year. It's supposed to be exciting. They're remembering what the Lord did and the provision. So they have these traditions that have come up through rabbinical tradition about, the Lord says you're to build a dwelling place, temporary, and they do all these things. And one of the neat things is you'll see them walking around, and you'll see them with these little plastic bags walking the street. And inside these plastic bags are the lulav, which is a palm branch, part of a palm branch, and etrog, which is a citrus fruit unique to Israel in this area. The other one is the arava, which is a willow branch, and the hadass, which is myrtle. And these are all the things that they symbolize, and they carry these around because they go down to the kotel and in the synagogues, and they take these, and they're in the form of a stick, and they say blessings, and they point it to the north, to the south, and the east, and the west. And it's to accept. It also says it's also a proclamation that God is the ruler of the whole earth. He is the provider, and He brings forth these spices and stuff. And that's why you'll see them walk around the streets with it.
Another thing they do is they build tents. Why do they build the tents?
In Hebrew, it's called a sukkah, and that's why it's called sukkot. It is literally tabernacles, temporary dwelling places, and this is part of the memorial. The Lord commanded them to remember the memorial. So it is commanded by God that they are to build this dwelling place, a tabernacle, and they are to dwell in it during this time. And it's a really unique thing because the ceiling is a very important part of this, the roof, because it's supposed to have holes in it. And how many roofs do we have holes? But they are to have holes in it so they can see the stars, to remember that they were dwelling temporarily in the wilderness, and that God was their provider, that it was a temporary state, being in that 40 years wandering. And these sukkahs are very, very important because it's really funny, they're supposed to eat some meals in there. The tradition now, even amongst the Orthodox, is they don't live in them. Some people do, some people don't, but they are to eat meals in there and to remember these things. And the night they spend the evenings as a family in these sukkahs, these temporary dwellings that they built to remember the wilderness experience.
Now, what will you see in the synagogue at this time of the year?
Because it's such a joyous time of the year, the Sukkot is kind of the apex of all the fall feasts. We have Passover, we have Shavuot, and then we have this fall feast. And it's kind of the latter, it's the celebration of the harvest. It is a joyous time. It's encouraged. We've just got through fasting on Yom Kippur, which is, of course, the day of, you've done these interviews, is a day of being sorry and remorseful for sin. And then it's time to rejoice in the Lord. And what they do, it's really kind of neat. A lot of the synagogues, they actually have processionals around the synagogue with their lulavs, shaking them back and forth, and they chant and sing Psalms 118.
So how long is this holiday, and do they read any special scriptures at this time?
Well, there's many different scriptures and blessings, traditional ones. Of course, Psalms 118 is a psalm of ascent, because remember, this is one of the commanded, Shalosh Regalim. This is one of the 3 commanded times where they are to come up to Jerusalem, and the men of Israel are to come up to Jerusalem and to celebrate this feast before God. So it is commanded. It's 8 days long. First day is to be a holy day. You are to do no work on it. It's a Sabbath. And the last day, the 8th day, is to be a holy day, and you to do no work. It's clearly declared in Leviticus to do no work.
Now, the Bible talks about the nations of the world coming up to the Jerusalem for this feast, which sounds very exciting. What's your prayer for the Jewish people during this time?
Well, we have this incredible prophecy in Zechariah 14:16-17. I'll read just a little bit of it here. And it shall come to pass that everyone who is left on all the nations which come against Jerusalem shall go up from the year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and keep the Feast of Tabernacles. So these are the nations that are to do this, and this is, as many of us interpret it, as the millennial reign. And it's to be a joyous time when the Messiah, Yeshua, Jesus, will be ruling over the earth. And so my prayer in this time is that as they celebrate the joy, they will find something in them to realize they have so much to be thankful for, and to remember that God did bring them through the wilderness experience. And of course, in the New Testament, we have many analogies, and we have understanding that many of us are now in the wilderness experience in life, but we're looking forward to being with the Lord in Jerusalem to celebrate our salvation.
It's not just the harvest that we should be thankful for, but other things we take for granted. Can you imagine what it's like never having children? To be like poor Hannah, to be physically barren. What would you do? The only thing you can do is pray. I spoke with Noel Saada, who had that very same dilemma. The first question I asked her was, where was she from originally?
I'm from Jerusalem. I was born in Jerusalem in the Jewish quarter.
Now, you're an Arab Christian. Are there many Christians here in the land?
Yes, there is many Christians in the land, and I'm a real Catholic Christian.
Yeah. Now, you're married to Jamil. How long have you been married for?
For 23 years.
Now, you never had children. Why was that?
I don't know why, but maybe God, He doesn't want me to have babies. But I prayed and prayed, and I didn't get fed up, and now I have my little John.
So you have a baby now?
Yes, I have my precious baby, and it was a gift from God.
So you would say he's an answer to prayer?
Yes, He answered me, and I didn't like to get any treatment, because I feel that treatment doesn't give me any sense. God is everything in my life. I believe in God, not in doctors, because God makes everything.
Yeah. And He gave you a child?
Yes, of course. A precious child. I gave him the name of John.
Yeah. So what was the delivery like for John?
The delivery was very good. I had my baby by cesarean operation, but before that, 2 days before, I dreamt of Jesus, and I prayed for him. I said, please, Jesus, can you help me, because I'm having my baby by operation? And he said, don't be afraid, I'm with you. And I passed the operation without any pain or anything.
Wow.
It was very, very good.
So God answered your prayer, then He encouraged you along the way?
Yes, it was a good encouragement, and I was strong with him, and it was blessed by Jesus and by God,
Good. So how old is John now?
He's 11 months.
He's trying to talk to now. Do you want to say something, John?
Say hello. Hello. Hello, yeah.
So what's motherhood like for you?
Every woman likes to be a mother.
Yeah.
A mother means very, very precious thing in life. And if you lose it, you don't know what is mother.
Yeah.
And while I was walking in the streets, or I visit people in their houses, I see the children with their mother. I say, let's say the baby said, Mama, I need this word, and this word means everything, for a woman, that she wants to be a mother. So I said, oh God, please, can you give me just one child to be a mother, and to hear a mama, And at the end, He answered me, and now I have my baby.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, you used to work, but you've given up your work just to look after John. Why was that?
Work is something else. Work is not interested for me.
Yeah.
Which is interesting is having a baby.
Yeah.
Job for me is losing the time, But when I had my baby, I don't think now by working or getting another job. I was a cook for the General Consul, American General Consul, but I don't think that I will do it again, because I have have my baby, and I have to take care of him. I prayed for 22 years. I prayed for it. So why I go and work? So I need to take care of my baby. Yeah.
He's trying to say something now, aren't you, John? Yeah? What would you say to any women wanting to have a child now but can't have children?
I say for every woman that she wants to be a mother, don't give up of praying to God, because He can do everything that the doctors can do.